Previously on Dive Log.
Hello guys. Yes, my name is Melanie. We do see more women coming up and joining diving.
What are the common questions that they ask?
A lot of women are much stronger.
What do you think about the relations between men and women?
And all the guys will be staring at, whoa,
Hey guys, if you like our content, kindly do consider liking and subscribe to Dive Log. Let us know what is your topic of interest and we will make content based on your recommendation. Your feedback and comment is much appreciated. Now let's continue with part 2 of our discussion on women in scuba diving. I can see this is quite a sensitive and heavy topic, right?
Oh yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Why don't we go back to something lighter? So Mel, I have this question. This is actually quite unique, especially for women. And a lot of people do ask this. How do you actually handle your hair when it comes to scuba diving? I mean, it's something trivial, but it's important for women.
It's true. I just went for facial last week, and the therapist was asking me, aren't you sad that you have to sacrifice your skin for your job? Immediately, without any doubt, I say no. And I feel that no, I don't feel so. Of course, women know that skin with exposure to sun, prolonging exposure to sun, it causes pre-aging. There are so many different types of skincare now, likewise with hair care as well. I have not dyed my hair since I think first year of becoming instructor. I used to dye my hair a lot until the point I think there's one time my partner, I came back from a trip and he's like, oh my god, your hair and your skin is the same color, because I got very dark and my hair got very light. So then it was also not good. It was brittle, it was weak. So since then I never dyed my hair, but my hair is still very brown, and all this is purely sun and the sea. So it's natural bleaching basically. How do I deal with it? There's, like I said, a lot of hair care, skin care, application, and reapplication is very important. I'm a little bit lazy. I try to remember to apply. I use something a little bit better, spend a little bit more, because again, it's my job. Even pre-diving and post-diving, there is this particular thing called the leave-in conditioner that you can actually spray on before diving, and then after diving you can spray before washing. So why is because a lot of women, their hair gets entangled. And then when you take it out, and then of course when you pull and you brush, you lose a lot of hair. So leave-in conditioner is a lifesaver, something that you guys, a woman, can try. Not very expensive. Any brand actually you can just use before going diving and after diving, before you shower. Masks for skin, sheet masks, not very expensive as well, few ringgit. Very good for the skin. Don't let these things hinder you. My facial therapist, it was an immediate no, like she didn't even finish the sentence. I just say no, because why? In my opinion, I think 20 years down the road, we're all gonna age. As much as we keep or whatever, right? We are all gonna age. But compared to the experience that I have gained in the last 20 or 30 years, of diving,
it's worthwhile.
I will not give anything away, the life experiences or the encounters that I have with all these magnificent creatures, right, is something that if that's my cost, I would pay it. The life experience that I have from this is zero to none lah. I would do it in a heartbeat lah. I enjoy diving. I would not give it up just for skin or for hair. But one thing I have to just say is do not over apply sunscreen. There's a lot of people, a lot of my students, where they over apply, and when it goes underwater it melts and then their eyes are stinging. So that's something that I always tell my student, apply sufficient. But a lot of people, like I said, so scared of the sun, they will like, oh, like I said, come out like Michael Jackson.
But then again, also another thing, when you're using products, try to look for products that are safe for the reef.
Yes, 100%.
Mel, do you expose your hair during dive, or do you wear a hoodie when you are diving?
So I usually expose my hair. All I do is I tie it up to a ponytail. That's it. Unless it's very, very cold, then I will wear a hoodie. This is just my preference lah. Because when you wear a hoodie, usually some people wear it on the surface before going down. I always wear it underwater. When you wear your hoodie, you have to equalize, right? Certain times it's harder to equalize. So I rather just go down and then I wear it over. So my mask strap is actually under the hoodie. That is just my preference. And if I need to, I can always take it out also. Yeah, but certain people, they wear the hoodie and then they wear the mask on top of the hoodie. Definitely exposed. Even if you're wearing hoodie, water will still go in. It's a wetsuit, it's not a dry suit. Yeah. And you know what? A lot of people ask me this question. Maybe now I have longer hair. Everyone's like, how do you keep your hair proper?
Moisturizer.
Wash your hair,
wash your hair.
conditioner, you know. Yeah. But yeah, every day, confined water. Chlorine water is even worse than seawater, actually. Yeah, but use proper products.
And I have this question that comes from a viewer also. What is your take when it comes to peeing in your wetsuit?
Okay.
Okay, do you guys know, and this is legit, all my close friends, they know, I didn't pee for at least 11 years of diving until last year. So can't do it. It was a mental block. I hated it because some more is my job, right? Imagine full day of diving in the sea. It was very unhealthy also because I have to always control my water intake, and we all know you get very dehydrated. Until last year when I went to Bali, it was so cold. After 4 times of going Bali, finally did it. Feels damn good. So honestly, I would say if you can do it, do it. It's the best feeling ever. And it's literally turning up the heater anytime you want. So now that I can do it, I actually feel less cold diving. Last time those people who dive with me, they will know I wear so many layers. I used to wear bikini, but I changed it to a full swimsuit, so there's extra protection on my core area. And then I wear a rash guard, I wear a hoodie and a vest, and then I wear my jacket with the pants. That's normal in Tioman. Yeah, so if I go even deep, whatever colder areas, I will wear on top of that a full suit. And plus maybe sometimes the tech pants. So I'll do a lot of layering. But now I realize since I started peeing, I'm not as cold actually. So it works. You can turn on the heater anytime. But of course, in 11 years I didn't know. Now, oh my god, wetsuit is stinky. So make sure you bring wetsuit wash or even just
shampoo.
soap.
Wetsuit
You know, and
shampoo,
just wash. If you're gonna dive for multiple days, please wash your wetsuit.
Don't be shy of being in your wetsuit because it's not a big deal anyway. So
Yeah, and that's
you need
yours.
to go, you need to go, right?
And that's yours. Again lah, because like I say, I didn't do it for 11 years. First thing after my open water trip actually to buy was a wetsuit. Because I feel so disgusted because someone else's wetsuit, right? So that's the thing, because it's just personal cleanliness. Diving, I think, is the only spot that you can proudly say I peed, beside my friend.
The only thing is that sometimes maybe the question is with regards to UTI. If you're diving in stagnant water, then most probably loads of bacteria, and then not only UTI, you need to also take care of your ears and all that kind of stuff. So you need to really have proper protective suits. But generally, if you go out diving in the sea, you should not. You should be safe from UTI. If you're really concerned, maybe wear multiple layers, maybe an undergarment and then your wetsuit. Maybe it helps to filter whatever things that could come in contact with your...
Like I said, I think generally just keep it clean. If you're on a live aboard after every dive, just wash, rinse with like fresh water. But if not, end of your dive day, just rinse properly. About dry suit, you know, I've heard there's a sheepy. I don't know how is it gonna work. I don't use dry suit. That's interesting. Don't know if people want to use a sheepy for wetsuits. I don't think you need to. If you really want to be clean, then maybe that's something you want to do for wetsuit with the sheepy.
There are also practices with people who dive with dry suit where they put on adult pampers.
Yeah.
But then again, that only applies if you're using dry suit. If you wetsuit, then the pampers is just going to get soaked up, going to be uncomfortable. So there are ways of doing it, lah.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting question though.
Yeah. Any other question, Adam, from our viewers?
That's all for now.
Okay.
For now. So I have actually compiled a list of obstacles that are unique to women. One is women are more susceptible to cold. It's because of physiology and also the hormonal difference between men and women. Women, their heat in their body are more focused on the core. So they lose their warmth easier when it comes to the extremities. Another one is when it comes to pregnancy. Obviously, we all know that we are not allowed to dive when women are pregnant.
Yeah.
There's these studies that says that there's a 5.5% chance complication will arise if you dive during pregnancy. Another one when it comes to breastfeeding. For breastfeeding wise, there's no harm. Some people think that after you come out diving, there's nitrogen residue, that they're afraid that the nitrogen residue will go into the breast milk and then feed to the child, right? That is actually a non-issue. You can still breastfeed while you're scuba diving. The only concern is you need to stay hydrated when it comes to diving.
Breastfeeding, yeah.
Of course, we lose a lot of body fluids that we are not aware of when we are scuba diving. So you need to drink a lot of water when you're breastfeeding, when you're scuba diving. Another one is after childbirth. There's this difference of non-diving time. So if you are doing a vaginal childbirth, you need to rest at least 3 to 4 weeks.
That's quite soon.
Yes,
Okay.
C-sections will be a minimum of 8 weeks.
Okay.
And if you have complication or if you have twins, so that will be minimum of 12 weeks. Of course, these are just rough numbers. Always consult your doctors and
for
make
sure.
sure that when the doctor gives the green light, then only you guys go.
Safe to say that with the current Asian confinement practices, you are well
Yes.
beyond that
But-
time frame. So
We do have some customers who actually come dive with us after 3 to 4 weeks.
mm,
Confinement can be a cultural thing. It's not
yes,
everywhere in the world.
yeah.
So some actually do earlier than a month. But I mean, generally speaking, this is just a guideline. But always consult your doctor. So another one is, this is a question from our viewers also.
Okay.
Breast implant.
Nice. Okay. So talking about breast implant, if it's gonna be affected for diving, during
Yes.
diving.
Yes.
Good
I mean,
question, huh?
It's the same question when it's like, can you fly? It's because it's something to do with the pressure, right? Oh, by the way, I'm not an expert in
Yeah.
this.
So we are not medical
just-
practitioners. So
I'm just telling you guys what I found from all the articles that I read prior to this to this podcast. So when it comes to breast augmentation, it's generally very safe to dive. As long as you are fully recovered from the operation, there shouldn't be any complication. The only thing that you need to beware is, this is funny actually, is your buoyancy.
Actually, I read up that it's actually not that much of a difference, the gel and
Yes.
and water.
buoyancy.
So
Of the
Also-
density of it.
because it's fluid, there's no air in it.
yeah, it all depends on the material used.
Okay.
If it's a saline water package, saline is neutral, so it will not affect the buoyancy. But if it's silicon is negatively buoyant. So there will be a bit of changes in your buoyancy when it comes to that. Go for a dive and have a feel and then see how it goes, right? This biological thing is different for everyone.
So I have actually a student that again during the medical form, when they fill it out and they pulled me aside and they say, oh, I have breast augmentation lah. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because of that, I actually looked it up. Being a woman instructor, I think mainly women are more comfortable talking about cases like this, like same with the menstrual cycle, etc. So it's quite interesting, and I did do a read up exactly what you say. There's not much difference when it comes to diving, only slight changes of buoyancy, but it's close to the same density actually. We are all not doctors. Do seek your medical professional for actual clearance for diving. But I'm very, very surprised with what you're saying about post-pregnancy, post-childbirth.
3 weeks?
Yeah, crazy. I think the body is very, very amazing, I think, especially women's body. I myself not a mother, so I'm always very, very impressed with what woman's body can do. Yeah.
So, okay, another thing is when it comes to DCS, decompression sickness. They said that women are actually more prone to getting DCS because of the amount of fat that they have in their body. So generally speaking, women has 10% more fat than men. They are easily, when it comes to building up nitrogen in their body. And it's harder for them to remove the nitrogen when it comes to decompression. But this report that comes from DAN, Dive Alert Network, it says that report says that DCS rate actually is lower for women in compared to men. Also, death is lower for younger female divers. This might be actually due to the fact that guys are just stupid.
That's what I was about to say. What you said earlier, right? I think women are generally more like safety conscious. and men are a little bit more
Exactly.
challenging the limits. Maybe I think that's why the stats are so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, these kind of things are
Interesting.
really
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
to
yeah,
know. You know.
Yeah.
Breaking gender stereotypes today, right? So women very safe to dive.
Safe to say, as Mel mentioned, there are always pros and cons between two genders. We might be good at something, women might be good at other things, and we might be bad at something, women can be bad at other things. There's no gender that is better than the other one. It's basically the same. Mel did mention we are always subject to the same environment.
Correct.
So the threat and everything, it's the same. Men and women both have to deal with current. Men and women both have to deal with depth. Men and women both have to deal with DCS. It's the same. It's just that maybe sometimes the way we react to it and with the way we handle things are a bit different. Women are more detail-oriented, whereas men just don't care and jump. But then again, men are, generally speaking, more physically able compared to women. But women are, I would actually dare to say, mentally tough compared to men. I did notice this.
I think very interesting point you brought upon current dives. Yesterday I just posted how to dive in currents. Back to how is it different for men and women, right? Women, or actually generally new divers, are just scared of currents. But then how is it different for women especially? Because maybe women are scared they cannot fin. They don't have the physical ability to fin properly. But I beg to differ. Let's say if you put two dive pros, men and women will fare equally as well as men. Even though there's a physical difference or challenge there where you have to fight the current. At the end of the day, back to technique. Women especially also, if you don't have the physical ability to kick as hard as men, if you do it proper, if you stay close to the reef, if you stay close to the bottom, you use the proper technique, women can fare as well, if not better, than men. Because you don't even need to have that challenge of that physical ability if you do it proper. Men and women, like you said, have different pros and cons. But where it comes to shortcomings, I think there are different ways to overcome it with proper technique, with proper knowledge, with proper training. It's a no big deal, even though we have shortcomings. Yeah, when you were saying that, I was thinking, even currents, there is a physical disadvantage technically. But women instructors are perfectly fine, you know, and fighting the hardest current even, you know. Men can be like hardest swimmer, Michael Phelps, but if no proper technique, I'm pretty sure he'll be drifted away as well.
True.
You know, he cannot fight Mother Nature for that long.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, back to proper training, knowledge and skills is very, very important, regardless gender. Yeah.
Mel, being a scuba diver and an instructor for 12 years, what prejudice and bias have you faced and how do you overcome them?
Sometimes like it comes with different kinds of level of intensity, I think. As with normal circumstances, I think not just diving lah. There are still underlying, how do I put it, sexism. On what degree, maybe some is just, oh, you're a woman lah, you cannot do tech diving one lah. You know, that kind of small little things. Or it ranges up to, I do have a customer before. I'm not exactly sure that it is due to sexism, but he was quite rude in the sense of how he was treating me, or rather his trust in me as a woman instructor lah. And it was funny because I was teaching him and the wife together, and the wife actually didn't know how to swim. So I was actually, as an instructor, preparing for the wife to have more issues than the husband. But then when we went in the water, the wife was perfectly fine, you know, and he was having a lot of issues. Patient teaching him, you know, for example, clearing mask and all. Tried different methods for maybe 45 minutes, an hour. Somehow the different methods somehow landed. And then the first thing he said was, why didn't you tell me like earlier? Then I'm like, we just spent like explaining. Okay, fine. So I shrugged it off. Went on different skills and everything throughout the day and all. And then it happened a few times. And then towards the end, the wife was looking a little bit tired and all. I said, okay, you know, do you want to call it a day? We can just rearrange another session to finish it up. Then wife said, okay. And then he's like, yes. He said it to the wife actually. I know I'll beat you. So I was a little bit taken aback also. I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything lah. Then after that, we went back to the shallow end. We were taking off our gears, wanting to take equipment. And then he immediately was saying, oh, Mel, you know what? Remind me to write you a letter to recommend you on how to teach. I'm like, wow, what the hell, you know? He's like saying, yeah, you see, the last skill that we did before we call it a day was actually oral inflation, hovering oral inflation underwater. So I already brief, and I always brief why they do it in real life also, like in real life scenario, the benefit. So obviously this is to save your air, you know, you're going to exhale it anyway, you don't waste your air. He said that, oh, you never brief need to blow, and then you never say why also. And the wife, before I even say anything, because I was dumbfounded, the wife actually stood up for me. The wife actually said, no, she explained it, and she said word by word of what I actually said. Then he was unhappy, and then he just shrugged and then just walked off. And then subsequently, again, we have a policy. There's different milestones that you have to make payments, and he did not pay. So then multiple times, and the way he was communicating through the phone and everything was really, really rude. It was to a point that I have to really just put my feet down. So I actually applied very sternly but professionally also, stating that, hey, you know, asking for or chasing payment is my due diligence. At the end of the day, I also ended it with a statement that if you feel that I'm not the right instructor for you, that's fine. I can arrange another instructor also for whatever reasons that you deem for. And then after that, no message, nothing, right? Paid everything, came for the second class that we're supposed to have. Perfectly fine. We did the island trip and everything, perfectly listening to my instructions and everything, totally fine. So, I don't know, maybe certain people, just because I'm a female instructor, maybe he just needs someone that puts him in place. I don't know. That was probably the one and only time that I really feel that was a very stuck, I feel prejudice maybe of me as a woman, as an instructor, until I actually, like I said, was very stern but professional in my message to say that, hey, you know, my goal as an instructor is to teach you to be a competent diver, because you're not going to dive with me all the time. You know, at the end of the day, you need to be competent and you need to know how to dive, and that as an instructor is my goal and my only goal. And you pay me money to do that goal. But if you feel that I'm not the right gender to talk to you, I can easily change. But he did not ask me to change anything. Next few days, all perfectly fine.
Or maybe he's just trying to test you, to push your buttons to see how far he can go.
Don't know.
So,
But I think honestly that was a few times. I think a few times, maybe certain. But I think this is as with any customers, they will try to always push boundaries. But for me, I always try to be fair lah. You know, at the end of the day, is a win-win situation for the customer and the business. You know, so and that is what I'm asking from the customers too. You know, you need to understand that there are certain boundaries that we have to do to protect the business. But of course, I'll try to satisfy, if we can, your needs. We will try to lah. So there are certain customers that will try, but again lah, this is, I guess, just at the end of the day, man or woman, as a business person, I think we just need to know how to be stern and to put our feet down and to basically explain to customers in a professional manner lah. Hard to say if there's prejudice or biasness. Actually, even like respect in the industry, a bit hard to say. I don't really feel it, to be honest with you. Maybe even if so, maybe it's just age, because I'm also, not to say old, new in the industry also. So it's very hard to pinpoint if it's mainly just on women. But of course, there are challenges lah, that, you know, sometimes as a woman, young also, to try to get attention, you know, to bring up certain points in the, hard to say if it's specifically just gender based. So I think another prejudice and bias that I think generally, not just in the industry, but we do get catcalled a lot. It starts off as something that is very like harmless, you know, it's just the same as walking down the street, right? Men will catcall and whatever. It's more so in the industry lah, and what more if you're actually a dive pro in this industry. So it does happen. There's a lot of things that can be avoided. Something that Dicky has mentioned earlier also. I think if you set your own boundaries, especially for me, like you get like hit on by dive pros and everything. But if you set your own boundaries, don't get too close, you know, don't send off the wrong signals. A lot of things can be avoided. For me, it is so inbuilt in me. I didn't even think about it earlier when you say it, right? But you just have to be smart lah, I guess. I don't put this down to just specifically for diving. I think it's just generally in the industry, you know. Let's say when I was in corporate, it's the same case also. This is just something like it's inbuilt for women that I don't even think about it, that I would automatically have this as a shield or a barrier already. But men, you probably don't even think about it. Maybe certain remarks, we would just take it in without even thinking twice. But later on, I'm like, why? You know, like for example, mansplaining that you were explaining. I don't really take it in because it's so normal. But later on, maybe I'll think about it. So women do get this, but again, it's not specific to diving industry. It's just generally, as women, as a dive pro in the industry, there's a lot of things we can do to kind of set barriers to that, or make sure it doesn't go to a way that can be dangerous to us.
I believe that us as men, other than not doing what we are not supposed to do that make the other gender uncomfortable, we should actually also call out men who are doing uncomfortable things. Call out as in not to pick a fight in them, but just, tell them, advise them not to, do this, not to do that. Of course, whether they're going to do it the next day is not our problem, but at least we should voice out. That is the whole purpose of creating a safe environment, not only for women, but as well for men. All
Show
these
by
things,
example.
exactly.
So
all these things
does
not only affect women, it does affect men as well. In a way, it's creating a bad environment, a toxic environment for everyone to be in. So we need to prevent all this in order to even encourage everyone to come scuba diving.
I agree.
Actually, that's very true. Like toxic masculinity.
Exactly.
Like how some people, like men, let's say they are not comfortable or whatever, but they will not be allowed to cry, let's say. But why? I mean, like, you're just human ma, right? So it's okay, just let it out, and then after that, let's go on and fix it. It is just what it is. And men should have the ability to know that if they do need to do whatever you need to, it's just a way you express yourself. Yeah. So same. Yeah, I agree with you. Having that safe environment both for men and women.
What do you guys think about teaching your loved ones? Like, for instance, teaching your partner, teaching your kids, or even sometimes teaching couples, teaching families. What is your take in this? I mean, it's a bit off topic, but I think it's something that a lot of instructors actually talk about.
Yeah.
My wife back then was just squatting and all, and she did her open water dive course, and she sees that I'm very active in diving and so on, so she wants to learn how to dive. I was already an instructor at that point in time, but I knew I would not be able to handle her, simply because I may go overboard, or I may be harsh towards her, having certain expectation, or wanting to have high expectation on your loved ones, right? So I did not certify her. So what I did was I got a mentor of mine. So Mark Rahman was the instructor, and that's how we did. When it comes to my children, right, my daughter, she did her open water with a course director, not because I wasn't happy to teach her. It's just because I was also fully occupied at that point in time, and knowing that course director was happy to teach my daughter, then we went on with it. But my boys, it's a different story. I taught them how to dive. To answer your question, I really enjoyed actually teaching loved ones or family. If given the opportunity, I want to teach each and every one of my family members. But it's just that, sometimes the expectation, how you deal with your loved one, can be different than if you are doing it or if you're teaching with paying customers lah. So that is something that you might want to be aware of lah. You need to always stay calm, collected, and act professional lah. Act professional.
I think it goes both
ways. A lot of times when you are teaching your family members, you just go overboard lah.
From my experience, I thought like my cousins and all, not an issue at all. But my partner, very difficult. So I think it goes both ways. I think like internal, like maybe expectations, because you're also more comfortable with them. But also their then expectations also. Sometimes it's just manja, like don't want to do. Or sometimes, somehow they don't trust you enough. And then like I'll be like, I do this for a living, right? Yeah, so it is not easy. I think a lot of instructors will second. Not easy to teach like family members or your partners. Don't know why. Funny. I think it's just the dynamics. Sometimes it is easier to just trust a stranger
Yes.
to do their job, but when it comes to like your partner, it's not to say you don't trust them, but it's also, I don't know,
Or to get their trust,
yeah.
And also sometimes I don't know if this happens with you or the instructors out there. It did not happen to me, but I've seen a couple happens to be instructor trying to get the couple to do diving and so on. And then the couple say, "Hey, you're an instructor. Just go easy on me and just make sure that I do whatever it is, and then you certify me. In the end of the day, I just need the certification."
Yeah.
So these are also a factor lah. So
Yeah. No, but I think at the end of the day, is the dynamics is hard to say. It's a blanket statement for everyone. Because like my partner and I, we've been together so long. We are very different but similar. Even not just diving, right? He doesn't cycle, and then he took up cycling. And now he's a biker. So even when I was teaching him how to cycle, he was just like, you know what, just leave me be. Like he would rather learn from YouTube. So he learned from YouTube, learned to cycle, love cycling, got a bike, got a bicycle, got a super bike also. Sometimes I guess you just need to let them be. So same thing like cycling. When I was teaching him, I don't even think it was an hour. Like after an hour, he's just like, let me be. Okay, let him be lah. Then eventually he learned how to cycle. Like I said, he's a biker now. But of course, diving, because I'm the instructor, right? So he doesn't know how to swim also. So he got a friend of mine to teach him last time to swim and then do diving. So when in diving, I was teaching him. So sometimes I guess as with any relationship, you just need to know how to like step back lah.
Yeah.
And again, if it's not suited, there's also a lot of instructor friends that you can ask for help to teach the partner. But it's a very interesting dynamic, I think, when you're teaching family members. I don't know about kids, Dicky knows, but yeah, partner is a little bit different.
So what I noticed about Dicky is he's willing to teach the boys but not the girls.
Exactly. You scared they cry, is it?
No lah.
But
Okay.
I do understand the situation that both of you are in, right? So it's like you want the best for them,
Yeah.
but you can't beat it out of them.
Yeah.
So that's the spectrum between these two things that is kind of hard to balance out when it comes to being a mentor and a student. What about teaching couples? Do you recommend couples coming to you guys teaching them any other course as a couple? Because I do notice that when they go and learn, right, a lot of time they end up arguing with each other.
True.
It's because of one thing, as Mel says, is maybe it's the dynamic. Another thing is because there's this pressure between the couples. Like let's say the girlfriend can do it and then the husband cannot do it. Afraid that they are slowing down the courses, this and that. This hidden pressure that is going on between both of them. Would you actually recommend them to actually do courses together, or maybe it's better for them to just go with their friends separately to do their courses?
Well, the thing is, when they want to do a course, they will definitely go and do the course together. They will sign up together and so on. As an instructor, I always split couples or family members. Even if I have a family members or parents and children, right, I will separate them. I will mainly go with the children, and the adults or the parents will go with them. Simply because, sometimes ego can be one, passion can be one as well. Or the parents saying, "Hey, you should be able to do this. This is how and trying to be the instructor when he or she is also in the course." Some families are very easy. There's no drama. There's none of this, and you can just conduct the course very easily. But in many cases, when it comes to, it's understandable because they want to make sure that their family members or their couples are safe, and they want to take that responsibility to be on top of the situation. But little that they know that responsibility is actually the instructor's responsibility, and they are, they're taking over. So it can be a bit hassle. So what I normally do is I will split them. Yeah. Mel, what about you?
Unfortunately, I don't split them. I don't have the ability to. That's number one. Number two, usually they want to do it together. Again, then this one is on the instructor's good judgment. Sometimes if I need to, I will just subtly just say, it's okay, let them do it. same to parents or partners. It's okay, let them do it. They're doing it fine. If let's say it's too much, then sometimes I have to put them aside also to say, hey, like, don't worry, trust me, I'll be able to like teach or if he needs more time, let him do, but don't pressure him. So I will call it out also, but in a tactful way. I will always either do it at the side or something like that lah. But this one is again based on the good judgment lah. We also have to see how the individuals are and how are they taking it. Again, it's very interesting as instructor. You see different kinds of dynamics in a relationship and families and all. Some certain things are personal and private that has nothing to do with us. Then don't overstep our boundary. But if let's say it is hindering the course or the progression of someone's learning, then I will do it. Or even sometimes I will just say, it's okay. You know what? Today we'll call it for you. I will have a one-on-one session on that person. Let's say that particular one student is not very good, and then let's say the partner is good. I'll finish up the partner with other students, let's say. Then I have a one-on-one with that person. Yeah, so there are multiple ways that we can cater to the different needs of the student. So again, then you have to see each different situation and individual, and then just make that call on how to actually, for the best. At the end of the day, as instructor, like I said, our goals are very simple. We want to train competent divers, to be able to come out and dive themselves safely. So that is our goal at the end of the day. How to reach that goal? 1,000,001 ways.
Yeah.
Right? We can always change things around to make sure that at the end of the day, everyone becomes a good diver. Yeah. So based on the good judgment of the particular person, the instructor.
Being a woman, and as I mentioned, the industry requires more female participation, right? We want to see more female divers. We want to see more female dive pros, dive master instructors, eventually course directors and so on. How do you think that we as a community, as an industry player, we can encourage this, or we can encourage women to participate?
First and foremost, having conversations like this would be a very, very good starting point. I'm actually very happy with today's conversation. We managed to talk even the simplest question like hair, skin, menstrual, sexual harassment cases, something a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
But topics like this are real topics that are in everyone's head, not just women, I'm sure, men as well, So I think having conversations like this would help to I think open up and also assure certain concerns that women have prior to actually becoming a scuba diver. And I hope that whatever we answer today actually helps,
answer
some of your questions. And also continuing having this kind of conversations, be it in bite-sized manner. So that's why we do have certain content about menstrual cycle also. We do want to create more awareness, about all these kind of things. Number one, having the conversation. Number two, maybe having more role models would help. Maybe for myself, I'm not really a role model person, but generally people do look up to people. And having role models in diving, and even more so for dive professionals, for a woman to see a woman succeed in the predominantly men dominated industry would be something that is nice to look up to. And there are a lot of now women-owned dive centers in Malaysia, and I'm happy to see that, you know. Maybe have more men also coming in place, I guess, to encourage women. It's not just about, men all about thrill seeking and whatnots, right? What about women being in the industry? How does that actually drive the industry further? I think it's an underlying topic that we said both men and women have their pros and cons, right? How can our gaps to actually drive the industry further should come together and also, to push this further. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think from a man's perspective, both Adam and Dicky?
First and foremost, right, one thing that women actually look for in a lot of things is safety. So maybe it's obviously a good thing that we create a safe environment for women when it comes to scuba diving. It's like have a dive center that they feel safe, that they feel themselves when they are at that particular location and when they go diving in particular. Mel was talking about career for women in scuba diving, right? Obviously, most of the people that work at the dive centers are men most of the time. Maybe you can see one or two women, but most of them are men. But I would think that having an equal amount might be also a good thing. We can't do that right now because the distribution is just not there yet. But having like men and women working along with each other will be good. Obviously, we know that women and men have their own strong point. So instead of making everyone do everything the same thing, we should assign tasks, specialized tasks to certain people. Like let's say men carry the tanks, women can, they are
Customer service,
customer
maybe.
service,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing. I'm not saying that men is more superior. It's just that different. Obviously, probably men may not be a good person to good customer service as women. And of course, Mel did mention that women are probably more comfortable with women when it comes to certain things. So it's better for a woman to serve women than a man to serve women. That is one thing. Another thing I would say that it's have events that is focused on women, like Women's Day.
Women's Day, Women's
and-
Dive Day. Yeah.
Yes, we have seen this happening all around the world. People have been doing it, but I think we should do more of it. Recently, I have seen a dive center that has done this really well. They have this Women's Day, and then most of the customers that went to that particular event was women. But then again, there are some men there as well who is handling the event, which I think it's a good thing. It encourages women to actually go and scuba dive instead of just thinking whether they should dive or not, or other things like prejudice and bias and all those things, right? If they know that most of the majorities are women. So as I said, creating a safe environment for women to be in.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I have not seen that I would actually like to recommend, even maybe for a dive shop owner, that you can maybe think about, when you go to certain places, there are ladies' night, you can maybe do something like that also. The chances of one lady walking into an establishment is not that high. Usually they will bring their family along, their partners along or whatever, right? Have like a promotion for the ladies. Maybe they pay 50%. I mean, not all the time, maybe one or two times during the event. Women maybe pay a bit more less compared to men. You're still charging the men the same price,
Yeah.
but women pay a bit less. It's happening all around, not in the scuba diving industry, but a lot of other places are doing this, right? Ladies'
do
night,
that.
ladies' days.
For
that
Women's
is
Day,
good.
March, International Women's Day, we actually do that. Yeah. Actually, you know what? There's another thing when you were saying, I was thinking, another thing that I hope to see, hopefully we can also afford it, to actually have daycares for mothers who have babies that wants to go diving. I think a lot of, like I said, people dropped out, especially mothers, after they give birth, because they have to juggle the baby, right? They have to take care of the baby. And I think for men, if you guys can step up and maybe take turns, let's say if you're on a dive trip, maybe the mother takes the first day, the husband takes the second day, then at least your wife still can dive, But of course, if there is daycare, like how office areas now, they have daycares, right? I think that's a brilliant idea. I know it's hard to implement because not everywhere will have the amount of people, right? But I would love to see that happening. And of course, if we can eventually afford it, I would love to have that, The baby can just have fun here, while the parents are training. Why not? Yeah.
And also another thing that we can probably do is to specifically target women to become scuba diver. So as in approach women's community, such as like the Girl Scouts, the Girl Guides.
Yeah.
Approach them and see if some of them or even actually all of them would like to become scuba diver and make an event out of it, right? So we target them specifically, or have a women-oriented dive course, maybe an open water course that is specifically catered for women. That even talk about certain stuff that is only women-related, like educate them about menstrual, educate them about gears, equipments. Or I'm sure that female instructors has techniques and ways of, let's say, handling tanks. They maybe have a special technique how to carry tanks that us men don't even bother because we just lift it and go. Women might have a technique in order to do that, right?
Yeah.
I've known female instructors that have certain techniques that they use in order to dive better and to handle certain things, which is also, of course, beneficial for women. But I don't know what I'm saying is actually biased, because I understand that gender-specific courses might actually offend the other gender as well, right? Then again, specific gender might need specific solution for things.
Yeah.
For instance, I was talking about couples going for scuba diving, right? We can have this event where girls go to this girl instructor, guy go to this guy's instructor. Come to think of it, right, it can be more enjoyable for both parties. Obviously, women more comfortable. We don't have to worry about sexual harassment or whatever, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then men with men, bros, they can have their bro time. They can enjoy things together. Women, after their scuba diving, they can go for a spa, whatever. Men can just go to the bar and drinks.
Yeah.
Have some distance, have some time away from each other. Enjoy some alone time.
Yeah.
I think might be a good thing as well.
True.
If you guys are coupled, you guys are together most of the time. You see each other at home, you see each other having dinner. 4 days of courses with someone different, it's not going to kill
You're
you.
in a long-term relationship, right? The new ones, they can't get enough of each other.
Inseparable.
Exactly.
But it does.
But I understand.
Yeah, it does. It does actually break the tension between both couples that I was talking about when it comes to courses. There's no pressure when you're doing it separately, because you don't know what's going on between two, right? So I think it's a good recommendation. But of course, everyone's, as both of you say, would prefer to do it together.
Yeah.
But maybe you can do your open water together. When you're going for your advanced courses, try separate it and see how it goes. I know people that don't even dive together with their other half because they prefer not to. The boyfriend needs to take care of the girlfriend, and then it's like, I'm going here, I'm paying the same price, I'm diving the same. Why do I need to, take care of you? And then the women is worried about the guy mansplaining everything to the women, right? I just want to come here and have a vacation. Why are you telling me this? I don't need this kind of explanation. Things like that.
Yeah.
Mansplaining is very common. I get it so much.
Especially when it comes to scuba diving.
Yeah.
I might be mansplaining now. I don't know. I might be. I feel like I might be, but then again, it's for my recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a nutshell, I think just generally be supportive. There's no superior gender. Everything that man or woman in scuba diving, both we can do. Of course, maybe different techniques or whatever, but at the end of the day, the goal is the same. Shouldn't be limited. Women shouldn't be limited from thinking about they are not good enough for diving. They should definitely give it a go.
If you guys have any questions in regarding to women in diving, please do contact Mel. If you have any questions, go to her website at Flow Dive Center. You can contact her through Instagram, her website, IG and everything. I will put everything in the description or actually in the screen right now for you guys that you contact her. Ask her anything in regards to this. Of course, she does conduct courses and also international trips as well. Yeah, please do check her out. Last but not least, what is your message to everyone who is listening to this podcast right now?
For women, generally, don't be limited. Don't think that diving is so hard. It's not. It's as with anything, new challenges, anything new, it will be challenging at first. But it's not a gender thing. To men, they're equally scared, But that said, also, both genders, we all have our own ability to actually overcome this challenge. And that's why we are in this business, right? If not, I will not open a business. Everyone, regardless gender, is able to scuba dive. About physical or mental resilience, something that, again, all are muscles. We can train them physically and mentally. Don't be worried, and if you still have any concerns about limitations, if you're shy, you can also reach out to me. That's not an issue. You can definitely scuba dive. Scuba diving is for everyone. Certain people takes a longer time, not an issue. But at the end of the day, we all meet at the same goal, which is, to have great time diving, to have adventures, to have memories, to last a lifetime, and to meet a lot of people that loves diving equally as much. Yeah.
Mel, before we leave, what are you up to lately? What is in your mind?
For Flow, generally, we are opening up different segments. We are starting our free diving and also mermaid courses. We are also looking to expand to have a full range of dive professional courses. So we will be having IDCs and IEs for those who are looking to become a dive pro.
Congratulations.
Yes. So it's exciting times. A lot of things to start off. Start again building foundation for all these pillars. And of course, we just recently also launched our 2025 trips already. So you guys can go and check it out. Yeah, that is literally what is keeping me busy. And why I'm not starting my cave and my tech yet. Hopefully soon enough. That's where Flow is heading.
Thank you so much, Mel, for coming. You are our first female guest in our podcast.
What took you so long?
It's not easy to invite a
it's not
female
easy.
guest. To
Why?
be frank with you, we have asked certain people, and I mean, they just don't prefer not to be. They would like to have a conversation, but when it comes to being on video, it's another whole not different story.
Shy.
Maybe shy, and also I don't know. So just one thing is maybe because it's scuba diving. I don't know. It's also, I think, exactly what we are doing right here. We would like to actually break barriers and open up the platform to everyone, because we do know that most of our viewers are actually men, but there are still women who actually watch our podcast. I would always say that scuba diving is a very inclusive community for me. One thing beautiful about scuba diving is I see people breaking barriers all the time. Like they go to do something and they didn't realize that they are able to do it. And that makes me very happy when I see them achieving this thing, right? So it's one thing that we actually want to be very inclusive when it comes to scuba diving, which is why we would prefer to talk to people from a wide variety of people. We don't see colors, we don't see gender. But then again, we understand that there are topics specifically for certain people, certain groups, right? What I mean by inclusive is we would like to cover a wide range of topics. I mean, talk about it.
Yeah.
As you say, awareness is very important. If we
Yeah.
don't talk about it, people don't know about it.
Yeah.
And of course, we need to encourage more people to be better divers, to come join us in scuba diving.
Well, thank you again, Mel, for coming to the podcast and to share with
Thank you
us
for having me.
and to get on with this topic, women in diving. For the listeners out there, we hope that we answered your questions. If there's any other questions or if there's anything that we have not covered, send your message to us and so on. Other than that, also, it would really help us to grow if you subscribe to our channel, share our channel, put the like and whatever button that is needed out there. Please help us spread our podcast. And thank you, Mel, for the time for having us here at your establishment. It's really nice, wonderful place. We hope to come here again.
Of course.
Hopefully,
Always. You're always
another
welcome.
topic. Before I end, maybe Adam, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm actually good. But maybe we should, join one of Mel's community
social nights.
Social night.
Yes,
Maybe we
yes.
actually come and, participate sometimes.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting to
No
me.
problem.
You know?
If we get an invitation, for sure.
For sure, it's an open invitation.
Meet
Everyone
the
is
community.
invited. Everyone is invited. Yeah.
Meet the community.
Soon maybe. We
Okay.
will see. We are a bit busy. We'll live short staffed.
Okay, thank you so much, Mel, for coming to our
Thank you
podcast.
so much for having me.
I hope you enjoy yourself.
I did.
Being in this
Definitely did.
podcast.
I enjoyed the topics we talked about. Yeah.
We'll see you guys in our next episode. Thank you for listening and viewing.
That's all for now. And there you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Bye, guys.